Coburn. I'm your host, Samantha Stone. And this is a special episode because I'm going on vacation and we'll be missing the next couple of weeks. So I'm excited about a couple of really fun things we're going to be chatting about. We're going to be catching up with Mayor Scott Galvin. Scott has been doing lots of busy things, and so this is a great chance to catch up. It's been a little while, and we're going to talk about a really fun Know Your Neighbor activity dinner that's coming up and all the details around how to participate in that. Welcome, Scott.
Hi, Samantha. Good to be back.
Yeah, it's good to have you here. And I know that we have had a lot going on in the city and lots of things happening and lots of things happening with teachers. We're not going to rehash all the things. There's lots of people who've been talking about that. But I thought it might be a good opportunity to take a pause. One of the positives that came out of what happened in our city was that there was a lot of people engaged in the community and lots of people who are interested in our schools and interested in all the things. And people probably, a lot of folks who, we haven't been to school committee readings lately. We haven't been inside the schools, all those things that these types of things is. Just wanted to check in with you and see if there's anything, any ways that you want to channel that community spirit, things that we can do together to help kind of bring us back together in a good way and start that healing process.
No, I think it's the number one thing. It's great that the kids are back in school, and as they say, as time goes on, things will move forward positively. So we're happy everybody's back, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, excellent. One of the things I wanted to ask you about was the firefighter grant. We had like an $8,000 grant, I think, that came to us to be used. And I'm just going to check my notes. So I want to make sure I get this right. It's for fire and safety education work. And so I didn't know if we had specific plans around that, but in looking at that, it made me remember that the headquarters should be opening soon. Do we have any updates on when that will be happening?
Yeah, and just to touch quickly on those grants, the fire department is pretty, just like the police, they're very aggressive in getting the public safety grants. So they get a number of those smaller grants during the course of the year for different types of training and education. So yeah, both the police and the fire do a good job, as far as getting that. So and most of not all the other departments do as well. We're very aggressive with our grants, and right now it's more important than ever with all the federal grants that are trickling down to the state and the state grants. So that's one thing I got to give a plug to the fire, police, and our city departments. But you mentioned the fire department. We're excited about that. Middle of March is when we should have substantial completion. As we talked about, there have been a number of delays based on COVID and bottlenecks on some of the deliveries, which held up some of the important infrastructure. But it's a beautiful building. They're talking about getting stuff moved in, and we're anticipating to a grand opening in the second week in April. But they'll be moving in all through the middle of March, and it's a really fabulous building.
It's every time I drive by it, I'm so excited because it's such a wonderful new and well-deserved home for the fire department, and it's going to be exciting. I'm sure everyone will be very excited when they get in there. So that's awesome. Good to know that there's progress, and that's actually not a terrible delay given all the challenges of supplies and things that we've seen, sort of across the country at this point.
Yeah, and we'll talk about some of the there were some minor cost overruns, which again in this environment where we're not happy about any cost overruns, but there were some there's some design, some small design issues, and there are always some small issues that pop up that you don't anticipate. But we do have a great Danisco's our designer, and they've been working on some of they did this couple of our schools, and they've done a great job with the fire department. And of course, Pat Said is a project manager, and he's excellent too. So always have a great team around us with these buildings.
That's awesome. We have other exciting sort of grant related. Jeff Dillon was on recently telling us about the money we got to build out the conservation area around the old Herald School, which is fantastic and going to be a lot of fun. And we have two important community meetings coming up. I just wanted to mention those, the 15th and March 9th. And I think those are on Zoom. So there's lots of places. We'll put a link to it in the show notes, but lots of places that people should get involved and lots of good questions. We encourage people to come and share their feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point. Thanks for the public service announcement. It's good to have people involved because it's going to be a real nice park project with some environmental benefits for the area and for the entire region. So it's a good project. We're really grateful for the support we received from Catherine Clark. Jeff's been a good champion on this. He and I have been working hand in hand with Jay Corey and other city departments, Rory Lindstrom. So it's exciting, and we're definitely looking for community input on this one. And as you said, Wednesday's one of the ongoing meetings, so it should be convenient by Zoom. But we're, like you said, urging everybody to join us on Wednesday.
That's great. I also saw that looked like construction has started on the Pocket Park right in the center there. That that's going to be. Is that? I've sort of heard maybe there'll be some tables and stuff there. What will end up there in the end?
Yeah, we're trying to model it on the success of the Pocket Park next to the bank and
Brickyard.
Brickyard, yeah. My brain's not working as fast as it should be sometimes, but yeah, so it's good. We got a lot of help from Rep Haggerty on a earmark, so he's been really supportive of initiatives downtown. So we want to thank him, and the DPW stepping up big. They've got a lot of talented guys down there who are working on that project. So big shout out to the DPW and Rich Haggerty, and also Tina Cassidy, who's planning director. And we've got our new, which some week I'd like to have on, is Casey Haggerty, is the new economic development director, and she is no relation to Rich. It's Haggerty, but they spell it differently, and there is no relation.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I had a mental note to send her a note to connect when I get back from vacation. So we loved it, and that's a really exciting new resource for our city, right? That's a brand new position we've not had.
And she's hit the ground running. She's really good, and I think she'll do some good things in the city.
That's awesome. So we haven't had much snow, but winter's not over yet, and it's probably coming. So I just wanted to mention a couple of things related to snow shoveling and stuff. There's some good volunteer programs through Social Capital to help people who might need some help clearing yards and stuff. So they're looking for volunteers always. So definitely make sure to check that out if you're able to help and can help out with regularity or just on occasion. But also, and Scott, I know we've talked about this before, but this comes up all the time, so I wanted to reintroduce it. When we do have a snowstorm, there's always questions about who's responsible to clear sidewalks. Now, we know there's specific areas of the city where the city is responsible for specific streets and things, but generally speaking, what guidance do you want residents to follow?
Well, generally speaking, we love a couple of things. It's really important to, number one, dig out the fire hydrants, and we generally get a lot of help from that from the residents who know where the fire hydrants are, and they always do a good job on that without being prodded. But it is, the sidewalks abutting your house, if you're able to, it'd be nice if you get to them. But really, the ordinance requires downtown. There's areas of the downtown on Main Street and Pleasant where the businesses are required to do their sidewalk maintenance, and they usually do a very good job. So, but as far as residents, it's whatever you can do, and if you're able and you have time, we'd appreciate your help there. But the most important thing is getting the fire hydrants dug out. Cities, we do have our sidewalk plows, and they don't get out right away. They usually get out after they address the streets, and then they get right out there at nighttime. And those tractors, they're good, but they're sometimes they cause some damage, which is you'll find in every city and town with the sidewalk tractors. But again, we just ask residents to get the hydrants done, and if they're able to, any help they can with the sidewalks abutting the house is greatly appreciated.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Anything else you wanted to cover before we let you go today?
No, it's good to be back. I know I haven't been here for a couple of weeks, but it's good to be back. And heading into the spring, we've got a lot of grants that we're working on. Even though the fire station's finishing up, we're putting out a bid to put the solar on the roof. So we're really moving ahead with some of those green initiatives, and the budget's coming up, so that's going to be an important document for the community. And it's good to be moving back and addressing some of the getting back to normal. That's all.
Great. Well, we appreciate you joining us, Scott. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Next up, we have Chris. Chris,
Thanks.
welcome. I'm really excited because you have had such a wonderful Know Your Neighbor dinner that happened, I guess, a few weeks or months ago at this point, and there's another one coming up. Tell us a little bit. First of all, you brought some friends with you, so let me have you introduce the team of folks who's working on this with you.
Sure. Thank you very much, Samantha. We have co-organizers Margaret Valentine and James Austin with us. We're up to 9 people in our organizing team, truly a dream team, we call it. And we're delighted to be here with you to talk about Know Your Neighbor Woburn.
I am thrilled. So this is I want to make sure I get the word right, Fam Jam.
It's a Fam Jam.
So James, tell me a little bit about what happens at a Fam Jam.
What happens at a Fam Jam? I guess the families jam together. It's the simplistic way to put it. You come together and enjoy each other's time and company and music, activities, food, and just people.
So Chris, James said one of my favorite words, food. And
yes.
I think
Yes.
you and I have a similar heritage, and food
Oh,
plays
yes.
an instrumental role in every emotion that we ever have. Tell us a little bit about, is there a particular cuisine or anything that will be shared here, or how will that work?
Well, our initiative is a multicultural initiative, really trying to build what we call beloved multicultural community. Dr. Martin Luther King was the first major figure to use the term beloved community. And when we talk about community, food is the international currency of community. So our first event featured a Middle Eastern light dinner. This time we are hoping for something more family oriented. And I won't give it all away, but it's going to be lots of food that kids like, that families like. It's going to have the all favorite pizza menu, as well as other things that families really enjoy eating on a Sunday afternoon when they're having fun and when they're having a Fam Jam, Samantha.
I love it. I feel like Fam Jams should have been in my repertoire long before now. Margaret, tell us a little bit about where this is going to be hosted and the details of when.
So we're excited to have this club. I have to remember, I used to call it the Boys Club, and then it was the Boys and Girls Club. So the James and McGowan Boys and Girls Club on March 5th. The Sunday evening, they're opening it special for us because it doesn't involve their activities, and it's from 3 to 6. And we figure people have things happening on Sundays. They might be at a church or they might have sports. So this allows families to come together between 3 and 6. And the Boys and Girls Club is a perfect location for this because they're already diverse in our community and they already have families together, but you'll find families that maybe they go to the YMCA or their kids are in private care, or they just don't have an opportunity to visit this beautiful facility. So we're excited they're hosting for us.
I think this is so fun. So Chris, for those folks who maybe don't have young kids or such, they're of course welcome, I know. Tell us a little bit about, should people, families or non-families, sign up ahead of time, show up at the door? You need help organizing? Well, how can people
yes, absolutely. Yeah. This event, like all of our events, will have something for everyone. And it will be a wonderful experience for people of all ages and all cultural backgrounds and all walks of life. And we will have events and activities also during this afternoon program for all ages. We're going to have some cultural activities, some get to know each other activities with icebreakers and conversation. I might let James talk a little bit about the program in the gym. We're going to have gym activities for young people and those who are physically able. I might be in the gym for about 5 minutes, Samantha, and
I make a very good cheerleader, Chris.
That's cool. No, that's cool. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cheerlead, but we have a program of activities and something for everyone and for people of all ages. We hope our singles will also join us, because even though we're focusing and sort of shining the light on our families, single folks are also going to have a wonderful time at this event.
That's great. James, tell us a little bit about what's going to be happening in the gym. Any sneak peeks?
Sure. So keeping it extremely simple, taking what most people know, which is backyard fun, and we're going to bring it indoors, such as kickball, dodgeball, maybe wiffle ball, something that anyone could just jump into. I'm really excited because I love it when we pair the kids against the adults. That's kind of the idea. If you're under 18, you're with the kids, depending on how many adults we have, because, you know, us adults,
Yeah.
with our back issues, we might need a few 18-year-olds on our side. So I'm hoping that the teenagers show with their parents, because I love the rivalry that teenagers have when it comes down to mom and dad. So my 15-year-old will be there. He's actually going to be helping me more or less, and hopefully his friends will come and they'll jump in and assist, because I may need someone to pick up the kickball for me, you know, with the back issue.
I
So
love a good rivalry, right? Let's get those people out there moving around. That sounds super, super fun. I'm really excited about it.
So
Chris,
Martha, Margaret has also been working on some cultural activities and some cultural performances that she might tell us about.
perfect.
So kind of like Chris, we won't give it all away. And to be honest too, we work on the fly and we've got like a zero budget we build. So we ask some places if they might donate as a resource. In December, we had Embrace Kids. They're fantastic. They always show up, and they did some readings. We had other kids too, Woburn students that came and spoke or played violin, and it was really beautiful. So based on that, we're going to ask Embrace back. They're looking to help out. The Keystone or Club kids will volunteer this time as well and blend in and maybe bring their friends. So as far as entertainment, we've got, I don't really want to give away too much on that, but there's music and there's some dancing, and there will be just a little bit of something for everyone, including the bingo to get to know each other. There's going to be, you have to interact with people around you. So we'll be set up in the cafeteria section to maybe have some activities there. And there's the game room that is beautiful. There's games already for kids to jump in and play with kids they might not normally be with. So there's a little bit of everything between music, dance, and just a good time.
I'd love that aspect of it. And Chris, I'm really excited about sort of this whole idea of getting to know people we might not bump into normally. And so that bingo game sounds really fun. Those pickup games sound really good and enjoyable. And for everyone, right? This isn't about competitive teams. We have lots of those things that happen across the city about hanging out and having fun. Chris, I know that this was inspired, about this sort of desire to get to know each other a little bit. Tell us about, this is the second time we've done this. Tell us a little bit about the origins and how this got kickstarted.
Well, not quite a year ago, a whole group of us who come from so many different cultural backgrounds and different ancestral heritages, we began to say, as we emerge from the pandemic especially, isn't multicultural community building in and of itself, isn't it a good reason to try to create more opportunities to make new friends across multicultural communities? And so we brainstormed briefly and thought, we just need to create safe, fun, and community-based opportunities for people to come together. And it's a simple mission with a very, very big reward and wonderful outcomes. The outcomes have been just wonderful. We weren't sure what the first event would draw, and we had over 100 people. And so I really think people are really longing for and really very much excited about building community, making new friends, and having an opportunity to have some fun together. And when we think about community building, we think networking in a business setting, or we think about, parent-teacher groups, or we think about PTO. What we're doing is trying to create a safe space for everybody from every possible, place to discover each other and just make new friends. And so we think community building is something that's going to continue to grow in Woburn. And we hope we can help be the catalyst for that.
Well, I'm so happy that this is happening now. When I first moved here, just a little less than 30 years ago, I remember it wasn't really until we had children in schools that my husband and I really felt like we were part of
Right.
the community, and we met
Exactly.
folks. We knew a couple of neighbors that were immediately next to us. So
Exactly.
this is such a wonderful way for people who are maybe new to the area to get to know folks, but also people who've been here for a long time and want to meet new people to get together and in this new environment and eat and play and laugh and do all of those things. So super excited. I know that people are welcome to come the day of. Is there any RSVP or anything that you want people to do just so you have a sense of numbers, or just come on by and
No, there's no advanced registration, no RSVP, no admission. We hope everybody will come and bring a carload or a busload. And, the more the merrier, as they say, Samantha. We are preparing ourselves for a large group. So people should come and stay for an hour, stay for 2 hours, or stay for the whole afternoon program.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us, James and Margaret and Chris. This is going to be super fun. I hope a lot of people come. And Woburn, I'm going to miss you over the next couple of weeks while I am out of the country on a graduation trip with my youngest. But when I come back, we have lots of good stuff lined up to talk about. We have got lots going on in our community as always. We get inching closer and closer to spring. And so that's always a busting and booming of things. So please continue to reach out if you have programs you're running or you have questions for city officials that you want asked. Many of you help design the programs each week with how you reach out. Please continue to do that. And as always, Woburn, please continue to take good care of each other.